Hey, welcome. Today I want to do an approach using localizer runway 33 in Bangor, Maine. It's pronounced Bangor. I looked it up. There's extensive pronunciation videos. Mainly I want to do this because of the holding approach. There is the initial approach fix has a 1 minute holding pattern. So we're going to enter on a teardrop entry from the west. The initial approach fix, I'm looking over here at my other monitor, put a picture of it, what I got going on here. The initial approach fix is 14.4 DME from the ILS Bangor. To enter the holding, we're going to come in from the west, so that'll be a teardrop entry. We go 30 degrees less than the outbound leg. After a minute, make the turn to the inbound leg, which is 330. Fly that for to the 14.4 DME, and then we can hold as long as we need to in that pattern. Actually go back, follow the tail end of this course line. Okay, right there, 14.4, 130, start the timer. Kind of off here. 125 is good too. So teardrop entry looks like a teardrop joining up with the outbound lane, and then we're going to turn into the inbound. I don't want to turn too much. 120, we have 40 seconds. I was a little late, so about maybe 55 to make our turn. 120, 130, somewhere in there. Okay, 50, 51, 52, and at 55 we'll make our turn. Standard rate turn. I know the ball's a little off the slip skid indicator. Turning back to 330. Standard rate turn. Keeping on the horizon. Watch my throttle. Go too low. 30-degree standard rate turn. A little back pressure on the elevator. Keep it on the horizon. Don't want to lose too much altitude. Minus 200 on the VSI now. Okay, right there, about 4,000. We can drop a couple thousand. Okay, a little overshoot. Crank the elevator or the ailerons there. Maybe did some damage. Okay, we're back to 330. But we are off the course line. According to but we're in that holding pattern, standard teardrop entry, and we're just off a little bit, just a little bit, less than a dot away. That was the holding pattern. We didn't enter it perfectly, so we can get back on the line. We're in the general direction. If we were in the clouds, we can now use that line. We're in the holding pattern. We can correct it as we circle that holding pattern. We would fly to 14.4. Now the distance is going down. 15.2. Once we hit 14.4, then we would make that turn to 150 and correct the line up there in the next pass. But since we're in the interest of time, gonna go in right now. I'm gonna get back on the line using the GPS. Line that OBS up. Okay, we're getting a little close, so I'm going to increase the angle to get that OBS back to the course line. It's going to come in quicker as we increase that angle. And then we go back to 330 once it lines up. Pretty fast, pretty big throttle there. Let's go back to 2200. We're gonna drop some altitude too. Negative 500 feet per minute. Descent rate on the VSI, just to the right of the altitude strip. Okay. We're about in line, so we'll go turn to 330. Not all the way in line, so we'll do it slowly, catching that course line. Of course, there are no clouds. It's pretty good visibility, so I can see the runway down there. Slow, but that's good. We need to get down lower. Traffic pattern altitude is elevation 192. So 1192 is the traffic pattern altitude. Say 1200. So we're looking for 1200. That do have that wind correction put in there. Big crab angle. $700 on the VSI, that's good. And look at that crab we have to the runway just to keep the course line straight. $1,200, $1,800 for 1200. We're getting the calls to that I'm cleared to land runway 33. Making my position calls to traffic. This is an international airport, and it's what, 3 o'clock, so it should be a manned tower. I'm pretty low, but the VASI's reading all white, which means I'm high. That good crab angle in there, so I'm getting lower to get the 2 whites, 2 reds, or yeah, 2 whites, 2 reds on the glide slope. There it is. 1 red, 2 reds, 500 a minute, 500 feet per minute with that indication there. Keeping that 675. Okay. Now we're stabilized. I'm going to kick my rudder in to line up with the runway. Use ailerons to get to the center line. Much prefer the yoke for this. Kind of landing on the right main. Touch down and drop every other tire gently. Okay, put the tires on the runway smoothly, but not the best angle. I prefer the yoke to the stick. I'm just not used to. Yeah, I did a holding pattern circuit, and then came in for the landing as published. And the tower would give you a series of instructions telling you to enter that holding pattern as published, and then it's up to you to figure out how to get into it and how to stay in it until they'll give you a time that you stay in it or they'll just direct you onto the landing. Alright. Thanks for flying. Take care.